Hello, everybody. Listening to the Fairweather Podcast. Your boy 2K Suave. I'm here with Mr. Alex Rodriguez. We got the Lightning. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning behind us because once again we're moving on to the conference finals with the nice little sweep of the Florida Panthers. Sorry, Ron, and everybody who's a Panthers fan. Slight work, easy money. You know, not. This is the one time where I can openly say, yeah, it's Tampa Bay. What's happening?
I'll always say Tampa's a hockey town before football and baseball. So just winning culture after winning culture. And it's nice to root for a Tampa team that actually knows what they're doing and continually doing it year in and year out, even when their backs are up against the wall or they're not the favorite and they've won 2 Stanley Cups back to back. They're find a way to get it done. So
they even lost some players from the team from last year, and it's like they didn't miss a beat. It's like they took some time to just kind of just relax during the regular season, and now they just kind of just chugging on through the playoffs. We're waiting on the winner of the New York Rangers and who was it? The
Hurricanes,
Carolina, right?
Yeah. It's funny. One of the games of the season that I went to was against the Hurricanes, and I think they lost 2-1 in overtime to them on a goal. So Hurricanes are no slouch.
Yeah, everyone's saying bring on the Rangers. That's what we want. So
I mean, it would be good for people coming in and everything like that. As far as our stadium's going to sell out regardless. Mm-hmm. But last thing I want is more Ranger fans in there in Tampa.
That would never happen.
The Lightning fans. Yeah, I agree too, but New York fans travel. So
if this was the Yankees versus the Rays, that's a different story. But the Lightning, we show out for the Lightning because we actually good. So it's hard to be a Fairweather Lightning fan because they've been good.
And I'll be honest, my love for hockey kind of really came when the Lightning were playing and when I was here. So I'll say I'm a Lightning fan at that. So. And then even just to jump on a bandwagon, I really enjoy the way that they put this team together, and it's the core. And then what's funny is like the core is there, and then another guy produces, and then he gets added to the unit of players, and then another guy, and budding stars are just happening all over this team. So you get to see guys grow within this franchise and just become really, really good, and then become a focal point on the team, like i.e. Vasilevsky. We had Bishop for so long and finally cut ties with that, and we have the best goalie.
And now we got the GOAT.
Now we have the GOAT, and he's only 26 years old.
27 or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he's super young. Yeah. But we don't want to talk about hockey too long and make all you Panthers fans out there too sad. Sorry, Ron. Episode 67. So we're obviously going to break down the NBA conference finals. Eastern and Western, we'll just have some open dialogue there. Just talk about the games, the back-to-back. We try to get a sweep with the Warriors, but Lucas said, hold my beer really quick.
That series should be 2-2.
It should be, but it should be. Almost got swept. You saw the end. We'll talk about that. I know,
dude. They just like they let him come back in the game before. It's like, come on, guys, learn how to close.
All NBA teams were released. We'll kind of just dive into those first, second, and third, see if it's structured correctly. Did they get this right? Even jump into the Supermax deal, how it affects players getting the Supermax deal. Is that even right just because you're on this list? College football preview. Saban decided to have some choice words for Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M program. So Jimbo fired back. We'll just have some open dialogue, and then Lane Kiffin just being Lane Kiffin about the NIL and how this is a professional sport, and Bryce Young is hindering himself. If he wanted to leverage the NIL, he should have jumped in the transfer portal. We'll discuss the crazy preview of college football with our last segment, and then for the fun segment at the end, since Saban and Jimbo are going back and forth, and Saban has said his sorries and everything, if you take them as sorries, we've decided to put our top 3 celebrity boxing matches a la head coaches going at it, duking at it with each other. So we'll have some fun there at the end. But let's go ahead and let's jump into the NBA conference finals. Let's start with the East first. We're tied up at 2-2. If you're listening,
Game 5 will be playing tonight.
Game 5 will be playing tonight. So if you're listening to this, you probably heard Game 5. If you heard a week later, you're probably watching the finals. So So it's on you at
That's
this point.
facts.
But uh the Heat and Boston, and we're tied 2-2 apiece, and pretty competitive, I can say. I mean, there's games of slouchness I've seen, like where some teams get a little sluggish, but I don't know. I'm like, I don't know.
Every game has been like a blowout. It feels like.
Yeah, some have been kind of competitive. I feel like the first game was a little competitive.
All right, we got a 20.1. Well, the game two was a 6.1. Game three was
Game two.
25. Game four was 11, but it was bigger than that. And then, I'm looking at the wrong one. No, I'm looking at, yeah. My bad. That was only game four, yeah. So, yeah, four of them have been pretty much blowouts except for one. So, yeah. So, I don't know. It's been an interesting, weird series. What sucks is that both teams haven't been at full strength for any game. It feels like Tyler Hero goes down, Kyle Lowry goes down, Marcus Smart goes down, Al Horford has COVID. All this stuff, Jimmy Butler gets hurt. Like, it's like in and out the line. There's no consistency, and it's really hard to get a read on this series. Even whoever wins Game 5 tonight, as we're doing this, I don't think it's going to matter. I think this is going 7 no matter what. It's just one of those. It's just like they're honestly evenly matched in a very weird way. So it's like
a lopsided Game 7 is what it's going to go to.
It's going to be how the Mavericks did to Phoenix. It's going to be somebody's getting blown out in Game 7. But it's just, I don't know. It's just been very, very strange. But two players that, I mean, at the end of the day, Jimmy Butler, I mean, is a magnificent basketball player. Bam Adebayo is a magnificent basketball player. We were talking about him last week because he takes advantage of his mouse in the house situations. And then the other side, I mean, Jason Tatum is a magnificent player, and Jaylen Brown's magnificent. And you see the impact that Al Horford has on the game. You see some of the impact that Marcus Smart will have some days, and Grant Williams will have some days. It's just I don't know. And then who the hell is Max Strus? So it's just a lot of it's a very strange series. Very strange series. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't really get a read on it, honestly.
Yeah, I eat my words. It's been competitive, like I guess for the first 3 quarters, and then it just kind of fizzles out, is the way I've been like noticing it, because players get on, or like teams get on like a long little streak and they just run away with it, and the other team doesn't know how to recuperate from it. And I just think that the most entertaining thing of all of this has been like you get to see players come into their shell and step up where they need to step up. Yeah, we've got this commanding lead. Can we keep it? I guess it's kind of like in baseball where you're up 8 runs and the guy hits a homer, in the 8th. Why do you need to do that? But they still do it. Mm-hmm. But it's just playing on to these players are great for a reason. Jason Tatum making the shots he needs to make. Jaylen Brown matching that as well and playing at the same tempo at second fiddle when everyone thought he should be the one fiddle for a while. And then they said, no, it's Jason Tatum. They finally got this figured out, who's who. Seeing Al Horford roll back the clock and play like, a shell of himself that we wouldn't think he would be playing like. Seeing Marcus Smart actually pay a difference, that you lose bad to the Heat one game, and then who'd have thought you just need Marcus Smart to come in there and play cleanup for you. And then on the opposite side, Jimmy Butler, night in and night out, doing his job. But the one thing that bothers me the most is when we saw the Heat go to the finals in the bubble against the Lakers, we got to see Bam Adebayo be very, very dominant in that. And we're not seeing that now. We're seeing like a lackluster Bam Adebayo. And we say it all the time, like he can do so much more. He can be such a more aggressive player in the paint. My favorite saying now, dominate when the mouse is in the house and just ball down low. I mean, Robert Woods is 6'8". I mean, Bam Adebayo is what, 6'10"?
He's about 6'9" with shoes.
Yeah, he ain't that much taller, but I think he's more physical than Robert Williams is, in my opinion. And I just don't see anything from him. I see it's like maybe
he had one dominant game, game 3, where he had 31, 10 and 6. But outside of that, he had 10 points, 6 points, and 9 points.
Yeah.
And not double-digit rebounds in any one of those other 3 games.
And
with
he's the
this.
kind of guy that can do that for you. He
Yeah.
has the ability to do that. But I don't know what it is, if he's just choosing not to, if he's choosing to dial back, how they want to run this. I would imagine him to be more dominant. I feel like him and Jimmy Butler get each other and they feed off of each other very well. But everybody on that team just steps up, whoever needs to step up, whether it's Strus, whoever the hell Strus is, whatever Gabe Vincent is. Kyle Lowry's back now, and Kyle Lowry's, balling. And Tyler Hero, when he's healthy, he gets his job. He does his job. You saw him come out there swaggy with the little outfit and everything.
Duncan Robinson got some run in the last game because it's weird. To me, I thought Duncan Robinson was, I wouldn't say the better player between him and Tyler Hero, but to me, I don't know. I trusted him a little bit more, and he wasn't getting that much playing time in this playoff run until they needed him. We also see an Oladipo play huge minutes now because they need him. It's just with the injuries that both teams are going through, it just makes the series just very hard to really understand and digest. You got to you don't know what we're going to get. But the pivotal game 5 is going to determine something. It's a 3.5-point favorite right now towards Boston. But still, pivotal only means one thing, because game 6, the other team's probably going to win again. So it's just, I don't know, it's just a very interesting series.
It's also a lot of those guys are getting playing time as well because they're getting blown out. So a lot more playing time for them. Like Duncan Robinson, I haven't seen him on the court a lot because they got blown out the last, the game before and the last one, they got blown out. So Duncan Robinson got to play a little bit more. So, and then what's funny, we were saying that it's going to be hard for Boston to win one in Miami, and they go in there and win one. But that was
vice versa.
Yeah, and then vice versa.
It happened both ways. They literally just, again, this series makes no sense.
Yeah, it's you would think it'd be like scrappy tooth and nail type wins, but they're either getting blown out, comfortable wins, and 1 by 6, which is understandable. That's not that bad, but I mean, when you're getting blown out by 20 and 30, that's just a little bit crazy.
Especially with the style of play that both of them play. They're both very defensive minded. So when you're a defensive minded team, when you see a team go on a 20-0 run, it's like, what the hell's going on? Like, they're both very defensive minded, and they have great offensive weapons to use and great schemes to use. So I don't know. It's a best of 3 now. And game 7 would be in Miami. Luckily, Boston doesn't have players that would be going to the strip club before game 7. They don't strike me as a team that would be doing that. So I don't think Boston would be scared if it does go 7 in Miami. But I don't know. It's really hard to say. Well, it's really hard to say, honestly.
It is. Both teams match up with each other, and I feel like they just psych each other out is what happens. Like, they honestly psych each other out. Like, they're just very good defensively, that when one team shuts one down, the offense just doesn't know how to produce, and they just try and play too much defense. And it just doesn't translate. It doesn't resonate. Like, I feel like both teams get in each other's heads, like in their own heads at that. Like, just play good offensive basketball. They both do that very well. And lock down on defense when you need to lock down on defense and have the right matchups out there.
Who do you think the best player in the series has been?
It would be a toss-up between Tatum and Butler for me.
You got to pick one.
I feel like, I don't know, man. If I had to pick, I would pick Tatum. But my gut wants to like I want to punch myself and say Jimmy Butler, because if Jimmy Butler is not there, those boys are lost. They don't have the type of command that they have. Like, I think there was a game that Jaylen Brown had, he took over, and he was like,
yeah, because Tatum only had 10 and Jaylen Brown had 40.
Yeah.
And they lost that game.
Yeah, that's the one.
On the other foot, Jimmy Butler went off in game 1, but since then, obviously the injuries are a concern. But it's not like everyone after game 1 thought he was Michael Jordan, and then after that, it's like, kind of quieted down a little bit. So I don't know. It's just, and then also these first quarters, it's like somebody goes up 20 in the first quarter. It's like I'm looking at game 3, it was 39-18 in the first quarter, Miami. It's like you can't get off to a start like that.
Yeah, you can't.
The other one was like another 20-point. It's like if you get off to a bad start in this series, it's like, all right, well, you're gonna put the foot on your throat and it's gonna be a wrap. So again, it's one of those series in which I don't know, I just shrug my shoulders, and whoever wins at the end is gonna be beaten up and battered, and they're gonna get to play a fresh and healthy Golden State Warriors. And Golden State about to get another one this year.
Yeah. That's what's weird to me, noticing that is like the commanding leads, and that's what I was trying to get at, is like they get in your head too much. Like we both know both teams to be very good defensively and both good offensively as well. But if you just can't do either or, like it's crazy to think that these teams are. It's just crazy to think of these like lopsided wins on all of them so far. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's a best of 3 at this point. Whoever can win best of 3 is going on. But both teams are banged. Both teams are injured a lot. Is Jimmy Butler like healthy now and playing?
I believe he is playing tonight. I think the only person that's out is Tyler Hero.
Smart is in, Hero's out. I saw that. I think Big Bob is out too.
No, but I think Bob's playing.
Is he?
I believe, according to my sources that I have on staff, the only players that are out are Tyler Hero and Sam Hauser of the Boston Celtics.
Whoever that guy is.
We have a Sam Hauser sighting.
Townie Sports, we're going to need you to educate us on who that guy is.
Where did he go to college?
Never even heard of him. Probably a Hoosier. So, but yeah, man, it's I either or I'm happy with, to be honest with you. I'm happy the Celtics got this far because, beginning of the year, what did they lose? Like 13 straight or something like that, and everybody was writing them off. They weren't looking too hot beginning of the year, and then they just crept up and became 2 in the East, which is amazing. And Jimmy Butler, we just don't give him his flowers enough. Like, he's a dog, and he has the will to win. So
take that from a 76ers fan who knows the reason why we're never going to win a championship, because we let Jimmy Butler walk and gave Tobias Harris $38 million a year. I mean, I can't fathom it still to this day. Still to this day, I can't fathom it.
Yeah, it's tough to stomach. I can definitely empathize with you there, but I also am the guy that gives players like Eddie Curry king's ransom to come play in New York.
Yeah. Y'all have had some in the last 22 years. It's been kind of messy over there. Ever since y'all made that random finals appearance in '99 against Tim Duncan, it's been downhill since then.
It was a good team, but boys got waxed. So we won one game, and there was a lockout, so that played in our advantage as well. So it was only like 50 games or some shit.
Yeah, it was a shortened season. And y'all was the A seed.
Hey, but winners win. They got there. That's all I can imagine. Look at that team. It was a well-constructed team. Yep. It just sucks that was the end of Patrick Ewing's era right there, man. That was the end of his knees.
Then he got fat in Orlando.
He got fat in Orlando. Exactly.
In that Florida sun.
Oh, well, man. But whoever wins this, I'm okay with them making it. Like, I think
gun to your head, money on the line. Who you picking to win a series?
Gun to my head, man. Sorry, Townie. I'm picking Miami.
Gun to my head, I'm going Boston. Gun to my head. Yeah. I think the injuries are a little bit worse for Miami than they are for Boston. And as long as Robert Williams is able to make it all the way through, and Horford to kind of there's a reason why Adebayo is playing bad. It's because like Robert Williams is a dog down there. Like, I think I saw a stat the other day against Bam versus everybody else is doing fine, but against Robert Williams, he's like a JV basketball player. So it's like as long as the big boys is good down low with Horford and Williams, I think everything else will work itself out, and we'll see a Boston Golden State NBA final. And clearly, I keep saying Golden State for a reason. I know we're about to hop into that right now, but Yeah, it's to me, it's Golden State's year this year.
Yeah, and you say gun to my head, and I feel like you tell me that gun to my head, and I have to pick the guy with the gun to my head is Jimmy Butler right now, saying like I'm not gonna go out like this.
And
Jimmy
that's a
Butler,
good point. That's a good point. I mean, out of everybody on the basketball court, he's the one that's not going to go out like that.
like don't get me wrong, Jason Tatum is a baller, but like I don't see him make everybody. I see more Marcus Smart make everybody around him better than I see Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is like Kevin Durant, the guy who likes to hoop on the court. Although he is a good leader at that, I'll give him that. Even though Kevin Durant in my books isn't a good leader, and Jimmy Butler just loves the hoop, is a good leader. He'll fight the coach. He'll fight Udonis Haslem. He'll do whatever it takes to make sure that team is running on all oars and winning. And even when they lost, he's like, this is unacceptable. Things like this can't happen. Like we're in our heads. You know, he's got the right answers. He's not coming out there saying like it was so-and-so's fault, or like he's taking the initiative for it and also taking it for the team and also dishing it to the team to be better too. So I've got a lot of respect for Jimmy Butler. And like I always say, like I feel like we don't talk about him enough until playoffs roll around.
That's why he puts his cape on in the playoffs.
Exactly. So that's where I look at that at. So I'm going the Heat on this. But if the Celtics win, I'm 100% fine with that too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's switch over to the West. I mean, it's 3-1 series. Almost got swept last night. Golden State, Dallas Mavericks. Luka's taking a beating left and right. And I think everything that we preached, we were wrong against. And then everything we preached, we're actually right against now. So team is too small. And Golden State doesn't have any big players either. They just know how to play big ball with little guys.
The thing about Golden State, they've been doing this for years.
Exactly.
Dallas is brand new to this party. So, like, when you go equal as far as style of play, the team with experience and a guy like Draymond Green and a guy like Stephen Curry and a guy like Klay Thompson. Look, Andrew Wiggins has joined the party. Jordan Poole. You got a great coach, Steve Kerr. It's just we're proving once again why it's impossible to be a solo superstar and win a championship. I don't care in this day and age. Even historically, people keep saying Jordan won by himself. No, he didn't. LeBron never won by himself. Kobe's never won by himself. Like, you need help. Luka's getting you 33 points a game. He's balling right now, right? But he needs help. They made like 23s last night. Like, that's what they need to do. They need to make threes. Game 3, they were up by like 20 and still lost. Like, you can't go shot for shot with Golden State. It doesn't work like that. You got to defend them. You got to slow down the pace of the game. And Luka got to get busy, but he got to get other guys involved. And Golden State's dominating the boards. They're right now it's 45 to 35 per game on rebounds. And they're both not big teams, right? Or they're out rebounding Dallas by 10 rebounds. That's blowout city right there. They're out assisting Dallas by 6 assists or 7 assists, 27.8, so 28 assists to 21. So Golden State, you watch them play, and it's so beautiful to watch. They move so well without the ball. Everyone's setting screens. Everyone's popping to the corner. Everyone's flashing. They're getting offensive rebounds. They're taking good-looking shots. Whereas
the second unit looks great too, man.
And that's what they were winning championships with in the past, with Sean Livingston and Leandro Barbosa and all those guys. It's the same thing. The second unit comes and it's not like a drop-off or anything. I mean, they were making a comeback yesterday with Kuminga and Moody. And I remember when the season started and they drafted them, I was like, Kuminga and Moody, I was like, this is not going to work. Joke's on me. Joke's on me, because Kuminga and Moody, bro, it's like this dynasty's never going to end. And I look at Golden State, and I look kind of just from like a historical standpoint. Golden State reminds me of the dominance that the San Antonio Spurs had for that stretch where they won 5 championships in like a 15 or 18 year span. I feel like it's going to be the same thing with Golden State. They have an unselfish superstar, Steph Curry, just like they had Tim Duncan with San Antonio. 2 very unselfish superstars who are not extremely ball dominant, but their imprint is always going to be on the game when they play. And then you have the other guys around them who know their roles and play it well. Like you got Draymond Green who knows I'm going to give you 9 assists, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks, 3 steals, 5 fouls, and a technical. Like I'm going to give you that every game, and I'm going to do it to the best that anybody can do that at. And it's like, and I don't know what the Mavericks have to do to get back in the series and try to force a game 7. I think Golden State is going to go back in game 5 and just kind of blow them out and kind of just sit and wait for Boston and Miami to kill each other at this point.
Yeah, at this point, like, I mean, everyone wants to see, there's a guy who put a bet in. Well, he bet like $10K to win like $1 million or something like that for the Mavericks to come back and sweep after the win yesterday. But I'm sorry, man. Like a 3-1 lead is really tough to come back. It's never been done.
3-1 has been done, but not 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0, my bad. But Luka can't do it by himself. And like Finney Smith, like I feel like he wants to play like Draymond. Like his style of play is similar to Draymond's, but like it just, I don't know. Like when you're going against Draymond, like Draymond knows how to get in Draymond's head. So like he's gonna be able to take care of Finney Smith, no problem on that. But Dinwiddie, Brunson, they've actually held their own for the most part. And everybody else on the team is just like, I don't know, man. There's just no wow or it factor there. That's anything, in my opinion. And just watching, like you said, Golden State play, it's beautiful to watch them in transition, set screens. Like that run that they were having with Moody and Kuminga was really nice.
Yeah.
And like seeing Kuminga just hit like an open 3 in the corner is just like
unconscious. Even no nerves whatsoever. I'm like, this is scary. It's scary.
It's gonna be good. Yeah. I mean, he was a lottery pick for a reason, man. But they're set up for for success, and having good mentors in Draymond Green and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, and then seeing the future of Jordan Poole and Jonathan Kuminga, and I mean, I guess you can throw Moses Moody in there too. Like it's gonna be good, man. And where were you saying before? Where they capitalized was the second unit, and the second unit looks very comfortable out there. No matter how you shake it up, if Steph comes off the bench, if Jordan Poole comes off the bench, whoever's doing it and leading the second unit, they're straight. And it doesn't matter because you should be scared too, because that's a really, really good second unit. I don't even think the Heat or the Celtics second unit is that scary to me.
The Heat are very deep. I would say
they are, but it's not as scary as the Warriors to me. I mean, they have Oladipo. Yeah, they have Duncan Robinson.
He's a all NBA player at one point in his career.
He is, but he's also been hurt a lot. So he's got to be, they're giving him more time. Like he got in the garbage time yesterday, which is nice because he's going to need that to get more playing, to be fresher and be able to shoot better out there and play better with his teammates. Obviously, you want to keep a guy like that fresh. So I understand that, but he ain't starting. That guy Strus is starting over him.
Strus.
But I mean, it's almost like it's 2.0 all over again. Like we've been saying all year, like everything clicks for them. Dallas is a great ride. It made me happy that you knocked off Phoenix, but
I'm sad that they knocked off Phoenix because I wanted to see Phoenix versus Golden State. I think it would have been a better series with them.
I don't know. I'm no one's scared of Phoenix, and I agree with that. No one's scared of them. People are scared of Luka.
Phoenix matches up a lot better with Golden State than Luka and them do, because they have size that they will use. They'll bring JaVale McGee off the bench. He'll grab 15 rebounds, and DeAndre Ayton gonna do his thing. They have wings, just like your favorite player, Mikal Bridges. They have Devin Booker, obviously. Chris Paul would struggle with Steph Curry because he's old now, but he's still Chris Paul. He might give you 40 one night and then 5 the next night. You don't know what you're gonna get. But one thing that was alarming for me, I'm looking at not alarming, well, weird. I'm looking at the Mavericks. So Luka's giving you 33, 9, and 6. And then Brunson's giving you 20, and Spencer Dinwiddie's giving you 14. Bullock's giving you 12. Finney Smith's giving you 12 as well. So you got five players averaging double digits
per game. Bullet for game 3 went out there just for a cardio. He just came out to do cardio for 46
You
minutes.
still got 5 players averaging double digits, right? But the problem is the rest of them have been terrible. And then for the series, Luka Doncic is in plus minus. Luka Doncic is a minus 12, and he has the highest plus minus on that team. So and when he's on the bench, I feel like they start making a little bit of a run because you can't attack. You can attack Luka Doncic. Like, he's not the best defender. Like, at the end of the day, all these comparisons about, LeBron and Larry Bird and all that stuff. The difference between Luka and those other guys, LeBron has made, I think 7 or 8 all NBA defensive teams. Larry Bird used to lock people up too. So, that's going to be the knock on Luka moving forward. I don't see him as somebody who's ever going to improve on defense. He's gonna be more of like a boxing one kind of player, or not a boxing one, but more of like he has to play zone. He has to play like free safety and roam around, get some cheap steals here and there. But believe it or not, he's leading the series in blocks, which is hilarious. But I don't know. He's not that guy as far as from a defensive standpoint. And they've been taking advantage of him on that aspect.
I mean, Andrew Wiggins yammed on him the other day. Also, Andrew Wiggins deserves some flowers, man. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to be the one that did it. I had a feeling you would say it because
I've always been a big Andrew Wiggins fan, and I just feel like, he was put in a situation where he was the focal point of Minnesota, and they wanted him to be that. Then they go and get Karl Anthony Towns, and obviously it's 2 number 1 picks going at it with each other. And, it's kind of hard to gel with that. Who's the main voice here? Can we both be it? Can we not? And it was just young basketball playing. And I think all Wiggins really needed is what we always preach: mentorship and a veteran presence. And what's better than having all of that with what Golden State has? So you get to see a guy play the game, go from being a possible bust, which I never thought he was a bust. He was averaging 20 a game, but just on a shitty team, and carving out a role. And who'd have thought he had bunnies like that, man?
He's always had that in his bag. He's a guy that's extremely skilled with no alpha mentality whatsoever. That's just how
that's the best way to explain it.
That's what it is. Supremely talented. He doesn't have that mindset to just go like that. He has more skill than Jimmy Butler. Let's be honest. But the difference between him and Jimmy Butler is a dog, like a serious dog.
The difference is Jimmy Butler is from Texas and he's from Scarborough, Toronto, or Canada.
Somewhere in Canada.
That's the difference right there. Texas boys know how to ball compared to Canada boys.
He's too nice.
Exactly. Hey, buddy, how you doing, buddy? So, but no, I mean, I get what you're saying. There's athleticism, there's talent, and it's all just been waiting to explode. And I think now that he's making this deep run, they're bringing out the best out of him, and you're getting to see it. And he gels well with that team. They'd be foolish to get rid of him, I would think.
Remember how when Harrison Barnes was with Golden State in the beginning? Yeah. And he fit right into that system because he doesn't have to be the focal point. Because I'm a Tar Heel fan, and what's his name? When he was with the Tar Heels, he was the guy. I thought he was going to be the next best NBA player, right? But he doesn't have that mentality, that thing, that it factor. But when he was with Golden State, perfect. Then he got a big contract, and he's kind of been just an average player ever since then. To me, it's the same. Harrison Barnes and Andrew Wiggins, to me, are very, very kind of carved kind of the same way. They have to be on a team like that where they can be your third or fourth option. They'll flourish in that. But to be the number 1 option, that's not what they're built for. That's not. Sacramento has not been shit since he's been there. And then wasn't he with Dallas at one point? Harrison Barnes, he wasn't shit there either. So it's like this is a perfect kind of situation for the Golden State Warriors to have a player like Kuminga being your third or fourth option. And it goes back to just blow my mind that they went from Harrison Barnes to Kevin Durant. And they went from Kevin Durant to Andrew Wiggins. And it's like they haven't missed a beat. They've had 3 different kind of players playing that same exact role, and they haven't missed a beat. So I don't know. It's crazy.
Kevin Durant gonna Kevin Durant. I mean, but just knowing that you went from Harrison Barnes, like, oh shit, we're gonna get Kevin, and you get Kevin, and you lose Kevin, you start shitting the bed like, holy fuck, we lost Kevin Durant. We had a down year, but that's because everybody's hurt.
Yeah, everyone's hurt.
And then you get players back and you build it back up, and then you get this guy Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins steps it up. Like, you're good. It just shows. And if there's anything that I'm proud of it with these organizations is like and this is probably for the Heat, the Warriors, and maybe the Celtics. I wouldn't really throw Dallas in there. Dallas, I think, is just kind of, lucky to be where they're at.
They just happen to be in the dance still.
Yeah, they happen to be in the dance, and they were just sick of hearing all this shit about Phoenix. But if anything I appreciate about these teams is, one, the training staff is good. They keep these guys fresh. They keep these guys healthy. They have injuries, but they avoid some pretty big ones for the most part. Obviously the Clay one, you can't fix that. That's something that's inevitable.
Unfortunate, yeah.
And Gary Payton Jr. falling and breaking his elbow, that's unfortunate as well. But you saw Boston rehab 2 guys pretty quick and get them back out there. We've seen players on both sides, on Miami go out and Golden State go out in their rehab, but they also have faith in their players, which I always say is like, if you get these guys like an Andrew Wiggins, don't give up on him. Let him come into his shell and you see him flourish. Don't give up on, I'm trying to think of a player on the Celtics. That doesn't come to mind. I don't know. They went out and go and get this guy that they got 2 players that fit the mold that they've had all this time. And Al Horford, and who's the big white German dude that they got back in Houston?
Oh my God.
That I always used to make fun of, that Vic loves so much.
Bro, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, but anyways, they went and got both those.
Daniel Tice.
That fit their mold. They knew we need the big guys. Horford knows his role here. Blah 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 blah. Tice was good in the second unit. He can start if we need him to. If Big Bob gets hurt, blah 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 blah. And they know their roles. And then Miami, Jimmy Butler. Does this guy fit the mold for you? He's a dog. I'm keeping him. Exactly.
PJ Tucker.
Every player on that team. Every player.
Kyle Lowry.
Exactly. They're all dogs.
They're all the same player.
and it works well. So that's what I appreciate about all of those teams. I mean, Dallas, they're just missing a second fiddle. They need a second fiddle is what they need.
You know what's refreshing for probably Adam Silver and the NBA and all the GMs and all the owners and all that stuff? That era of Big Three, go get it, Big Three, go free agency, it's dead. I mean, the Lakers tried it, didn't make the playoffs. Brooklyn tried it, got swept. What other Big Threes? I mean, all the other all these teams that we're seeing now, homegrown talent, or they picked up a key piece. They didn't go put all their eggs in the basket to go get one player. Like, think about it. Russell Westbrook, it cost the Lakers $47 million, right? In that same $47 million, Miami will find 4 players to do what Russell Westbrook can do and then some for the same amount of money.
Correct. 4 dogs.
Exactly. And that's what the league is starting to see now. Milwaukee won a championship last year. They didn't go get a crazy big name. They drafted Middleton. They traded for Middleton a long time ago. They drafted Giannis, and then they brought in Jrue Holiday, right? They didn't.
Middleton came from the Pistons.
The Pistons, yeah. And he was only there for like, a year or something like that. They got rid of Malcolm Brogdon, but last year they brought in PJ Tucker. They brought in Bobby Portis. They did the small things. You see the teams that are doing the small thing. Golden State, go get Andrew Wiggins. Go draft well with Jordan Poole and Moody. I mean, we're still waiting on James Wiseman. We don't even know what the hell's going to happen with that. So I think it's refreshing to see that this is what the league used to be, and it's getting back to that. So all the Big Three and Big Four and all that stuff, it's literally a dying breed. It doesn't work anymore. Jason Tatum drafted. Jaylen Brown drafted. Horford's been in the system a couple of times. It's just Marcus Smart drafted. So they got it figured out. The teams that are going to be successful now are going to have it all figured out.
I think Miami too, like, you can even though Jimmy Butler's the focal point, they went and got a lot of players. Like, they're not historically a team that just kind of drafts well. They kind of get players that gel well together and put them together and then draft around that. i.e. the Tyler Heroes, i.e. the Bam Adebayos. Even though Bam was there, before Jimmy Butler was there, and had to see the garbage time that was there in Miami for a little bit. But they're just a team that literally either gets 3 superstars or one player or two, and then tailors a piece around. We've seen it historically.
Yeah.
The Alonzo Mournings and the Tim Hardaway and the Dan Marley run that they had.
Right. That's true. That is true.
The big 3, we got to see the Eddie Jones and Glenn Rice era too.
We saw them bring in Shaq to win the championship with Dwayne Wade and Gary Payton. So they have Miami has actually done a very good job bringing in the right piece. Outside of that whole big, the big 3 obviously was a success, but they've done a very good job just attracting the right piece. Because you got to think about it. They've been relevant pretty much these whole last 22. They've been in existence since '89. They've been relevant since like '95. Like they've been really solidly ran the whole time. So, and even if they don't draft a player, they're not. Besides the LeBron Bosch thing, they're not going and making big splash names. Like we all thought Giannis Antetokounmpo was probably going to go there, but we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. We go get Jimmy Butler, do this, do that, and they're in the NBA Finals 2 years ago, and they have a very good chance to make it back again. So, yeah, Miami is a very well-ran organization. I definitely got to give them credit for that. That Heat culture is real. That Heat culture is real. You heard what Jermaine O'Neal said?
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up. That was really good about eating Twinkies, or what was it?
Eat Oreos.
Oreos.
He's like, he'd much rather eat Oreos than stay in shape for the. And it's true. Like you look at the Heat, they don't got no fat players. Udonis Haslem used to be fat. That dude is slender and trim now.
Kyle Lowry, the fattest one out there, and he ain't even that fat.
He's not even that fat. Shaq used to be fat. Shaq got to Miami. He was trim. He was body fat was all the way down. It's crazy, but that Heat culture is for real. That's why I always said if LeBron James played for the Heat for his whole career, I guarantee you we have 7 rings plus. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. He went to 10 NBA Finals. He would have had like 7 of them chips easily.
Yeah, you don't also look like a slob on South Beach either. So
yeah, that's why James Harden was probably trash. He kept coming down to Miami, going to the strip clubs. But his body, his hamstring, obviously he can't get into shape. He can get that cardio, but he's still James Harden. He got to go out to South Beach and see what's up. See what's up with little baby and the boys down there. But Boston's not going to struggle there because they got that Miami mindset where it's like, no. We're a historic franchise. We're not doing all that bullshit. We are here to win another NBA title so they can pass up the Lakers. Because right now it's tied 17-17. So I think Boston really wants this one this year. Trust me.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into the NBA teams. They just released first, second, and third teams. So first team we have for the guards coming in to represent are Devin Booker and Luka. Forwards, we have Giannis, Tatum, and center, other 4, we have Jokic in there. For the second team, we have, for the guards, Morant, Curry. Forwards, we have Kevin Durant, DeRozan, which isn't he really a guard, and Joel Embiid. And then for the third team, we have Chris Paul, Trae Young, LeBron James, Pascal Siakam, and Karl Anthony Towns. So I've been watching TV all day today in the background while I've been working at home today. And Stephen A gets to vote. Stephen A said this morning that you can vote because I guess the forward or the center is like thrown away now. The big man is just the backcourt is what they're calling it. And he voted for Embiid and Jokic. But he says a lot of these people that go into voting say they have that mentality still that you gotta put this center. Yeah. You got to have that center there. And then JJ Redick, God, ESPN, do not let that man leave.
Give him a bag. Before HBO gets him or Showtime or CBS or Fox Sports, give that man a bag now.
Give him the bag. Don't give it to Pat Bev, whatever you do. Just give it to him.
He's gonna get it back from somebody.
Oh my God.
He's gonna have to be on a network where he's allowed to curse though. So it won't be Disney ESPN.
He's gonna be Vice. Is where they're gonna get him.
It's gonna be on what's that one called? Revolt TV with Sean Diddy Combs.
Jesus. Anyway, so JJ Redick then chimed in, and I agree with what JJ Redick said. Give it to the 15 best players in that order, and that's the way you should rank it now, because we play a different style of basketball where the center was a dominant position. Yes, there are still dominant centers, but if they even equate to it, and obviously Embiid once again had an MVP season and got left off of first team once again.
Yeah.
And if he has the ability to be there, there's no reason he should have been there. Now, I also feel that we were spoiled with this year's play from playoffs. So a lot of people who voted were watching Jason Tatum during these playoffs and were like, oh, he deserves
No. They vote in April.
Oh, they did?
They vote before the season is over. I don't know why they wait a month to let us know who's on the team, but they vote as soon as the day the season ends. So the playoffs have nothing to do with their vote. They've already voted.
Then I retract that. I thought it was just there and then when they're voting, because
no. Yeah.
I don't think Tatum should have been first team, and I don't think Booker should have been first team in my books either.
So who would you replace?
For my first team for guard, if we were going to do it that way, if we're doing it in April, I would have said either Steph Curry or John Morant should have been there for me. And then if he's considered a forward, I would have said DeRozan or Durant there for me. Durant played the whole season like a bat out of hell. So,
but he played only 55 games.
Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
He was hurt? I thought he was healthy.
Remember he missed like January all the way to March?
Oh, yeah.
He had the Achilles thing again, or the leg or whatever.
Right. And I would have picked DeRozan over him.
Why DeRozan? DeRozan was only good until December. Jason Tatum deserves to be there. If I had any gripe, so I don't really have any gripes except maybe John Morant to be in that first team. But Devin Booker was an MVP candidate. Luka Doncic is Luka Doncic. And obviously my other gripe would be Embiid over Jokic. But for what, I mean, honestly, the first team makes sense. It does kind of make sense, but I would prefer as a fan to see Embiid over Jokic. But you can't have the MVP be on the second team. Remember when LeBron James was first team all defense and Marc Gasol was second team defense? But Marc Gasol won defensive player of the year.
I'll give you a better one. How about when Tyson Chandler for the Knicks won defensive player of the year and was on the second all defensive
team?
Dwight Howard was first.
Correct.
When the shit don't add up.
Yeah, it doesn't add up like that. Yeah.
That shit don't add up.
Jokic, I mean, if Jokic is the MVP, he has to be on the All-NBA first team, right? It makes sense. And then looking at the second team, Steph got hurt this year too. But
if now this is me looking at it now. If knowing that Embiid and Jokic can live together on a first team roster, if that's playing into it, if this were me and I were voting, I would have liked to seen from the guard position Luka and Ja.
Whoa, really quick. Don't even put positions. Who are the top 5 players this year in the NBA? That's my question to you. Top 5 players.
Obviously, the top 3 are the 3 MVP candidates. So Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis automatically there for me.
Correct.
And then I would say Ja. And then 5th is really a toss-up for me. I would say Luka or Tatum, one of the two, would be there for me.
Okay.
That would be it. I'm not trying to take anything away from Tatum. I just feel like there were so many. If you could go back and watch our shows, we were just saying like we're not seeing it from Tatum like we should. We should be getting more from Tatum. And there was like games where he'd had 10 and 11 and 12 points. And
it is games he had 50.
He had 2 50s, exactly. So like you got to respect that.
Well, let's just looking at, and I know points per game is not the only thing to look at when it comes to these categories, right? Luka led the league in scoring, 31 points a game. Got to put him in there. Giannis was in there. He was second in scoring. Jokic was in there. He was third in scoring. Jason Tatum was 4th in scoring. He was the 4th leading scorer, and John Morant was 5th. That's why I was like, maybe I'll put John Morant in there personally. But I feel like he probably got dinged because he didn't play. He didn't play a lot of games, and the games that he didn't play, Memphis was still dominant without him. So maybe that like they were like, well, how important was he really to the team? But I mean, and again, I know points per game is not the only thing to look at. But for what it's worth, that's your top 5 in scoring right there. LeBron and Durant would technically have been like 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 or something like that, but they didn't play enough games to qualify for points per game. So, Durant actually finished ninth. LeBron would have been fourth because I think he had 30 points a game, if I'm not mistaken. But again, if I had to do anything, maybe I'd probably put John Morant, but I wouldn't be able. I'd probably have to take out Devin Booker to do that, which I wouldn't have a problem doing. Especially seeing how mini he came up in that series against Dallas. You got to put Luka over Devin Booker right now, and maybe you got to put John Morant in that 5. But again, it's the way the voting is done is it is kind of archaic because we come from when we were born, there was a
center.
There was
he was
Kembe, there was Alonzo, there was Patrick Ewing, there was David Rock, there was centers, right? Shaq. It was a lot of centers in the league. Ralph Sampson, like it was a lot. Now it's positionless basketball. So when you're in this era of positionless basketball, even if you do have a 7-footer, like Chet Holmgren is going to get drafted, right? Is Chet Holmgren even a center? He's 7'1". He's not really a center.
He can shoot threes.
He's a
center's never shot threes.
So it's like, but it's like, what is the example? What is the definition of a center? So to me, Kevin Durant is 7 feet tall. He is not a center. So to me, in this era where we in positions are honestly out there, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You don't have point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center anymore. So if that's the case, if we're just going 1 through 5 instead of positions, you just got to go like what JJ said, and I tweeted it. You got to protect JJ and get that man the bag because he's right on the nose. The top 15 players should be voted on. Like, all right, number 1, like how the NFL does like the top 100. You got to do a top 15, and the other part, I think in the all NBA teams, I think it's just the media who votes on that. I think that's a horrible precedent because people have emotions into these picks. Like people won't vote for somebody they don't like. There's a reason why Embiid is probably never going to win MVP and it's probably is not first team because he probably rubbed some people the wrong way because he's jovial, he'll take shots at you, he's unapologetic. Whereas Jokic is quiet and nice, and he pushed Marcus Morris, but no one talks about that. Like Steph Curry is cute and cuddly. They're gonna make sure he gets in. Like when it comes to these voting, it should be players that vote as well. The media should have some input as obviously because they do cover the game, but you gotta get the players involved with it too because they're the ones on the front lines that see these players every single night, and the bias is going to be a little bit less when you have the players involved with the voting. So I think they got to take out the positions, vote on the top 15, and then number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 votes or whatever, however they want to do the math. That's how you slice 1 through 15. So if you have 5 guards in the top 5, so be it. But chances are you're not, because at the end of the day, it still works itself out. Look at the top players in the league. We gave you the 3, Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis. There's basically 2 bigs and 3 bigs, but one of them is more like a wing. Like Giannis is like a wing big. And then who are your other 2? You said Tatum and Morant or something like that, or Tatum and Steph, or
my other 2?
Yeah.
If Embiid could be there and you could vote on it, I would definitely have Embiid there and I would have Ja.
Yeah. So it still works itself out. You have 2 bigs, a wing that's a bigger wing, and then a couple guards without having to force positions down our throat. And then you look at the rest, Durant obviously going to make it. Steph is obviously going to make it. DeRozan deserved to be in there. And with the third team, Siakam was the only one, and Trae Young. What a Trae? Was Trae any better than he was last year? Like I didn't really feel Trae Young's impact this year. So to me, the Trae Young being in the Trae Young was, what was he? Yeah, he was 39th in scoring this year. And we're talking about Trae. Oh, that's the playoffs. Oh, I got it wrong. I was wrong. Remember I told you the points per game? I was looking at playoff points per game. So number 1 was Embiid.
Well, Embiid was none.
Number 1 was Embiid. Number 2 was Giannis. Number 3 was Luka. Number 4 was Trae Young. Number 5 was DeRozan. So you have a point now with that DeRozan over Jason Tatum thing. You do have a point. but it was yeah. I mean, Jokic was number 6. Yeah, I mean, you do have a slight point. Damn, my whole argument got
I
scrapped.
felt like your numbers were flawed, but
My whole
I'm
argument got scrapped. My whole argument got scrapped there. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You still take the top 15 players and slice it how you want it. So yeah, maybe Trae Young does deserve to be up there. But Siakam, what does Siakam do? I don't know.
He averaged 22.8.
He did.
He was 24th in scoring. But Bradley Beal wasn't on there. I know Bradley Beal went down. Zach LaVine wasn't on there.
LaVine didn't play. He got hurt.
I mean, he played – how many games did he play? He played 67 games.
What about Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown isn't on there. Jaylen Brown average
23.6.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown isn't on there.
Darius Garland, first time All-Star, he could have been on there. I don't know. It's you got to let honestly the guys who made it.
Donovan Mitchell isn't even on that.
Yeah, but I mean, outside when looking at that list, Siakam's the only one, which I'm like,
But Donovan Mitchell played one game less than Devin Booker.
And
he scored. Devin Booker was 12th in points. Donovan Mitchell was 13.
You know
Devin Booker had 26.8. Donovan had 25.
You know what the problem is? LeBron talked about this a couple years ago. Nobody has any love or respect for Utah. No one ever played with Utah in video games. No one cares about Utah Jazz. So for what it's worth, until Donovan Mitchell's in a bigger market, think about it. When Rookie of the Year was happening between him and Ben Simmons, if he played for the New York Knicks, Donovan Mitchell would have won that in a landslide. I mean, like, let's be honest here. So he plays for Utah. No one cares about Utah. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, Julius Randle got there last year, and they thought he was the next coming to LeBron James. So, I know they got to fix the way they do the voting. Shout out to LeBron. This is his 18th All NBA team in 19 seasons that he's played. 18 out of 19. I mean, come on. Come on. So
also, fun fact for you, because of course phones be hearing you, and I was just like strumming through Twitter, and it said only one player has been nominated within the last 15 years, 2 times for MVP, and has made all team 2, and that's your boy Joel Embiid.
Yeah, of course.
Back-to-back years.
Yeah. Last year he got robbed last year, but I get it. He got robbed this year for sure. But I get it. You know, it is what it is. It's politics. You gotta kiss ass in the media. Basically, that's how it works. So I retract my original statement when I was talking about points per game. I was very off on that part. So maybe maybe you were right about the Tatum thing, but yeah, the only one that I questioned was Siakam being in that top 15. Honestly, I mean, we can question Chris Paul, but we're going off what we just saw of the last of Chris Paul, which is not fair on him. So
honestly, I would be more comfortable with Jimmy Butler being there than Pascal Siakam.
Yeah,
that's my biggest.
That's a good one.
That's my biggest gripe too, and I think somebody else said it today when I was listening.
JJ said it. No,
it might have been JJ, but like the Heat were one in the East, and not a single player was represented on there, and that's kind of wrong. I think Jimmy Butler should be there for the mentality that look at all of his stats together. What did Jimmy average? He had to average like 20 a game. Jimmy Butler averaged 21.4 a game. Trying to look at the whole stat line. 5 rebounds, 5 assists. It's not bad.
And then what does Siakam do?
Probably like 22.
22. What was it? 8 rebounds.
It's better. It's a better stat line.
Yeah, but they were the number 1 seed, Miami. So the best player in the number 1 seed in the East should have some kind of love. Obviously, Phoenix got love. They got 2 guys in there, but the best player on the team in the East should be in there as well.
Also, the other thing we wanted to touch on was the max deal. Should that even be into play for you making that?
Whenever they did that collective bargaining agreement and voted on that to make it a thing before you get your max deal, I think it's kind of weird. I don't know whose side came up with that concept, whether the league, the league officials or the front office or the player side. I mean, it does force you to want to work hard. So you make sure you put yourself in line to get that big payday. So basically, at some point, you got to be a top 15 player, right? I guess that does make sense, but we've seen players get like Klay Thompson didn't make like an All NBA team, and he got snubbed of getting a supermax deal. And Klay Thompson's one of the greatest shooters of all time, right? So it's a weird rule to have because sometimes you're not the media darling. But Tobias Harris doesn't seem like somebody who should have got a max deal. And why did he get it? He was 13 one year. Is that the reason why he got? Let me see. Is that why he got? Is that why he got a max deal? Because he was All NBA 13 one year. You know, if that's the case, that's just weird to me. Like I don't know. Like who would you rather have, Klay Thompson or Tobias Harris? I mean, sheesh. Let's see, awards. I don't know. He ain't got no awards. I don't know how he got that deal.
He hasn't won a All NBA team.
I don't know how. Oh, he must have signed that deal before they had that rule in place. Because how the hell did he get that money?
I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that once again, it kind of like screws players out of that.
It does.
I.e., like Klay Thompson. And
Jimmy Butler should be in line for another max deal or something. He ain't gonna. I mean, I don't know. It does screw. I mean, Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's is a max player to me. He's not in the top 15.
Yeah, I feel like Jaylen Brown might have been a guy who was overlooked on this as well. Jimmy Butler's been All NBA third team 4 times. So I feel like if you make an All NBA team, whether it's defense or offense, you should have some kind of accolade or some type of way to have that max in a way. But I guess they care about all NBA team, so that includes all of your stats. So,
or it should be in the discretion of the player. I mean, of the coach. I mean, the coaches or the owners or whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's the media who votes for these players, for these All NBA teams. Not the players. It's not the owners of the league. It's not the coaches. It's not the GMs. It's the media. So the media is basically deciding what your salary is going to be. I don't think that's fair. That's the part. It goes back to the whole crux of the whole situation is how they're doing voting.
Yeah,
you can't have the media be in charge of the player's salary at the end of the day.
There's got to be some kind of shakeup, whether you have like old head NBA players that play into this, or
just have the current players. I don't know,
even the current players, or just a designated like representative that goes and speaks on the collective bargaining agreements from the players. Even those guys too, because obviously not going to send Pat Bev in there to go negotiate. Pat Bev going to be dropping F-bombs left and right. Have a cognate player that's like, okay, this guy, you know, this and that, as opposed to just like you said, all media guys. Because once again, if that's determining your fate to get paid, there could be some vendettas out there.
Think about it. If Skip Bayless was a voter, he would never vote for LeBron James to be MVP or All NBA first team, and that's because he just don't like him or something. I don't know. Or like there's a lot of media people who don't like Durant, who don't like LeBron, who don't like, Steph Curry. Like there's people who just don't like a player and they won't vote for him. So and that should not be fair when it comes to negotiating someone's salary. Oh, the media doesn't like you, so we can't pay you. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think that was like, what was it in baseball where they did like whoever won the All-Star game had home field advantage?
Yeah.
That was stupid.
That was dumb. I mean, it made the All-Star game watchable because they tried hard, but damn, how does that determine whether or not if my team won 107 games and you won 93, I need to get home field advantage in this damn World Series. What the hell's going on?
Absolutely. So that was just dumb when they did that shit that year, but once again, do better. Do better. You got to do better.
Speaking of the All-Star game, before we jump into, we're about to jump into Saban and them, right? Mm-hmm. Speaking of, what do you know? The Pro Bowl is thinking about scrapping the whole thing altogether and just having a weekend of they celebrate them. Do you think there's any fix to the Pro Bowl, or they just need to scrap it, or what do you think? What would you suggest?
Don't have a game. Do like we have an NBA All-Star weekend, like. How many times can Tom Brady throw a football through a toilet seat or something like that? who's the most athletic one? Like I enjoy looking at shit like that, as opposed to I don't want to see Matt Jones rip a 80-yard touchdown.
Gritty into the end zone.
Yeah, like I don't.
Sean Taylor would have laid his ass out.
Yeah, it's football is different because it's more physical. So,
but it was physical years ago when they were going to Hawaii and playing the game still.
It was, but then it came to the point that like you could hurt my players, and no one wants to tear their ACL at the. You don't want to get fired on your day off. Best Friday reference we can give here. Like you don't want to get fired on your day off. So that's the last thing you want to do is go and have fun in front of fans, and it's literally to go have fun, and you tear your ACL. So you don't want that to happen. I'm cool with making it like a week-long event of different NFL games, but think of something more creative, or split it up into like, as lame as it sounds, flag football or like quarter games or something like that.
You think people will show up, like 50,000 fans will show up to watch a flag football game?
I think if you want to try and promote that for kids to get into football and start off, like that would be a good thing to partner with and do. But think of something creative, kind of like how the NBA did it with like the All-Star game for Kobe Bryant for charity and stuff like that. Each half, or each quarter segmented to charity or something. Think of something fun. Like NBA thought outside of the box, and the NBA, it's always changing, which I appreciate. It used to be East versus West. And then as much as I miss it, this is like where my old head kicks in. Yeah. I miss when they used to wear like their colored jerseys all the time. I miss that instead of these stupid jerseys they got to wear, the red and the blue or the white and the black. Like they're just dumb. I miss that. But, you don't see East and West anymore. You see the lead vote getter in the East and the lead vote getter in the West go and pick their teams. And that's super cool to see.
Brings it back to the playground.
Exactly.
And that fourth quarter, when they have a target score to play to, you see the competitive, man. It's real. It's fun. Like that's when you turn the volume up and stand up and start watching. Like that's the good part. Football, like flag football. Like, if I had to go sit and watch a flag football game, I mean, you got Mahomes, you got Josh Allen, or maybe I'd tune in. I don't know, but that two-hand touch, fake tackling. Oh, go ahead and run, dude. Like that part. I don't know. Make it 7-on-7. I don't know. It's hard, but as far as they should just do the other events. Dodgeball's cool. They should do like a race, strongest man competition. Basically, the combine. Do the combine, but like blow it up. Blow it up to where it's like a fun event for the week. Passing. What's that? Punt, pass, kick, or whatever they do, or I don't know who can kick the longest field goal. Like something where it's like intriguing, but you have to get voted in to get to that weekend or that week.
But even at that, like the skills challenge, for instance, for the NBA, like the skills challenge should be something similar to that for like a quarterback. They should have one for a quarterback, one for a receiver, one for a running back, and one for like O-lineman. And then they should do one for the defense too, and see who pairs up the best on all of that. So
maybe like a big ass field day. You remember field day used to do like the basket, the egg thingy with the spoon, or the sack races or whatever. Just make it a big ass field day. I don't know. Make it interesting.
Make it fun. Yeah. All right. So
let's move it back to Hawaii.
Yeah, and go back to Hawaii, not Orlando, even though we like it in our backyard.
No, we don't, because no one's showing up to watch it anyway.
It's always gloomy too. It's always shitty.
And it's raining all the time.
Yeah. So college football preview, kind of not really even a preview, just more of like what's going on in the college football world. Mm-hmm. Nick Saban decides to go out and say everyone's going to play for Jimbo Fisher because they're getting paid over there.
They got that oil money in Texas.
Yeah, and he said it very nonchalant in a very Nick Saban way that I can appreciate, because that's just the kind of guy he is. Like he doesn't shoot, like we know they're getting paid. We also know your boys are getting paid too. Yeah. So and then Jimbo fires back and saying like, yo, why are you attacking me? Everybody has it out for you, this and that, and a third, and nobody likes you, and
they got Deion involved.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Lane Kiffin got involved. Dabo Sweeney's been talking shit for the last couple months. Everyone's scared. Everyone's nervous. Everyone's bickering. It's like a my I was talking to my girl about it. She was like, "What the hell is this?" She thought it was like some like girl drama. Like it's like love and hip hop drama or
It
something
is.
like
It doesn't make any sense. It's like an uncommon rule that we
yeah.
know, and we don't need to talk about it. But now that some guys are just like actively getting paid and comfortable with it, Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban's just like, yeah, man. Everyone just wants to go play for him because they're going to give him a bigger bag now. So, it is what it is.
But you know what he's scared of? Think about it. And oh my gosh, Shannon Sharp made the greatest point ever the other day. Because like Jimbo was like talking about dig into Nick Saban's past and see what he's about, blah, 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 right? And Shannon Sharp was like, he was thinking about it. Nick Saban convinced Tua's whole family to move from beautiful Hawaii to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I mean, what the hell? When he said that, like I had like mind blown meme, or I was like, oh my God, he's right. Who in their right mind would move from beautiful Hawaii, let alone California, like Bryce Young and all these other dudes that are moving from the West Coast to come to the East to go play for Alabama? They got money. they obviously give you a chance to get into the first round and be a first round pick, which is great. But at the end of the day, all things equal, I'm going to USC instead of Alabama. I mean, let's just keep it real. And in my second choice, I'm going to Miami. Let's just keep it real. I'm going to be in somewhere where there's sunlight. And third, I'll be somewhere in Texas where football is like life over there before I go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I mean, damn, it's crazy. I don't know. The whole thing is the thing with the NIL. Obviously, the NIL should have existed a long time ago, and it's so fresh that there's no way to police anything. There's no rules. The NCAA doesn't know how to regulate any of it. All they said was, "All right, go do what you want," and that was Wild Wild West. And all the boosters are getting involved, and whoever has the most money is going to get players. So, I think that the essence of the rule is good. Let the players make money off their name, image, and likeness. Because damn. I see beautiful stadiums getting built left and right off the backs of Reggie Bush and Tim Tebow and Percy Harvin and Barry Sanders, all these great college football players. And legally, they weren't allowed to make a dime, or they have to give up their Heisman Trophy, vacate wins, all that other stuff. Like it's, and you're using my name, like you're using my jersey number at the bookstore on this video game, and all the stuff.
Picture,
yeah,
like. It's insane to think that. And then even vacate your Heisman because of that as well. Yeah. So it's something that should have been implemented a long time ago, like you said. But yeah, it's also digging up into, if you want to dig into Nick Saban's past, like how well does he recruit? Does he recruit that well because of a winning program? Or does the program just historically have a lot of money there to give players and get big names? Like it's not no slouch. LSU, when he won his first championship there, they had a squad. They had a really, really good team.
And you know who was on that staff with him at LSU? Jimbo Fisher. So when he says dig into his past, hey, he's like, bro, I got the tapes. I got the files. I got the documents. I got the blueprint. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the whole thing is just messy right now because at the end of the day, and although I want the players to get paid, there needs to be some regulations on how it happens because I don't want to see no 18-year-old get exploited, and get taken advantage of. So it's like,
yeah, the last thing you want to see is a player, like you said, get exploited and then lose everything.
Yeah,
This when the point is to come and play, but everybody's got to make money, and it's a shame that these kids aren't getting paid to play the sport that they play, and people come out like. And it sucks because it's hard for a swimmer, of course, to get money as opposed to football player. Of course, people are going to come see swimmers, yeah, but not at the capacity they're going to go see the Tuscaloosa football game.
But like the flip side to that, yes, obviously football is king in this country, especially with college football. College football is a multi-billion-dollar organization, company, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's hard to see, swimmer or a tennis player make that kind of money. But let's say you go to Duke. You play basketball, you're going to get paid. But Duke also has a great lacrosse team. So historically known to be a great lacrosse team. they might not be bringing in all this, that, and the third, but they winning championships. If my local car dealership wants to pay our lacrosse player a lot of money, hey, whatever. So that to me was the essence of the rule, because how am I not allowed to get money off of me signing jerseys? You know what I mean? Like that to me was the essence of it. I think when the boosters got involved, it started to get a little bit messy, because now you're getting kids transferring every 3 seconds. Hey, we're gonna give you a bigger bag over here. You're not getting that much playing time. Slide on through. We got boosters for you. Like that part is a little messy. It does make it kind of just weird. Like you don't want to see play. Yeah, they are kids still. So, but yeah, kids are moving across the country. But it's still it's a lot to ask of these kids at the end of the day, just to keep moving because they want to chase another bag somewhere.
Yeah, and I think where it becomes real hazy too is if I'm the college player and I'm the best lacrosse player at Duke, and let's say Duke is mediocre this year. Krzyzewski's gone, the program's taken a beating, yet Greg Williams is the starting forward there, and he's getting paid more than me. But I've been here 3 years doing that. Now where does it become greedy on the player side of stuff? Mm-hmm. Like it's gonna cause an internal conflict with the schools too.
It will.
That the athletic department's different representations are going to be like, hey, we have the best program here, but we're not making as much as these. And it's kind of like, and I'm not trying to compare this in any way, but similarities to United States men's soccer team and women's team getting equally paid out on this now. Mm-hmm. Like they're making just as much as the men are. So and then even at that, we could do women's sports and male sports.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it could, yeah, for sure. It's
gonna get messy, but like you said, it's wild west right now. We really do not know how to police it, and we're gonna police it to the best of our abilities. But when you got guys, like if anything, the coaches need to stay neutral on this. Like what Nick Saban did is uncalled for in my books. Like I respect you as a coach. I respect you as you know a guru, as putting together the greatest rosters. However you do it. We all know you guys are paying kids. We knew Pete Carroll was doing it. We knew everybody's been paying kids to come play for their organizations, no matter how cookie cutter they look.
And even if they weren't, they knew kids were getting money somehow, and they just turned a blind eye, because why would you say anything?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's just mind-boggling that you go after another program, and even a program that you lost to last year. Like I feel like that's just
part of it. Not only did he lost it, so basically, you know how Bill Belichick never loses to his disciples? Same thing with Saban. He never loses to his disciples. He lost to Jimbo, and he lost to Kirby Smart with Georgia. And they were both former guys of his. And now they're going to some rival schools of his. And now they're able to pay a little bit better at these schools. So now he's like, damn, not only did I lose to Texas A&M last year, they have the #1 recruiting class this year. Like, and Alabama's used to having that #1 recruiting class. If not Alabama, then Ohio State. It's like, that's just, I don't know. It's obviously he's feeling the pressure. I think that little video that he was doing, he was just telling the boosters, look, we need more money too. He shouldn't have called anybody by name, but he's like, look, Deion paid, even though Deion didn't pay that kid, because that kid was like, that was Travis Hunter. He was like $1 million. Like my mom still lives in a 3-bedroom apartment with 5 kids. So I was like, oh, okay. So maybe he didn't get a bag, but yeah, I don't know. It's just messy. It's messy. It's all I can say. It's messy, but they're gonna have to find a way to make this make sense for everybody. Because think about it. Back in the day, Nick Saban sits on your couch. He's like, this is the best program. We're going to win national championships, blah, blah, blah. Now you got to sit on someone's couch, and we got $1 million to pay you. And we got, we got this booster that's willing to give you $500,000 to come here. It's a weird pitch that you have to do now as a coach, when after all these years, we used to just tell them why you should come to the school. It's a 5, we're the top 50 in education and this, that, and the third. Now they don't care about that no more. It's like, bro, I got $500,000 for you. Come here. It's like, well, okay, is it still college football or is it professional football? Like Lane Kiffin said, is it college football or is it professional football? So you guys, I see it in every way possible. I can understand why people will be kind of like iffy about players getting paid, how they're getting paid. But the NCAA screwed up with this from the beginning because they're making free money off of labor, off the labor of these kids. And it's a full-time job for these kids. Like, they wake up at 6 a.m. for morning practice. Then they got to go to class. Then they got to go to another class. Then they got to go to study hall. Then they have to go to afternoon practice. Then they got to go to class. Then they got to go to another dinner with the team. They're literally at football or school from 6 a.m. to like 7 p.m. every day while they're trying to get good grades and can maintain a 3.0 GPA or whatever it is. Like, you're asking a lot of these kids. They should feel inclined to find a way to get paid a little bit. They're working 50 hours a week. Damn.
I agree, man. I can paint this picture so many different ways. But at the end of the day, the NCAA really screwed themselves. They thought, oh, because we're giving these kids a free education, most of them, that they shouldn't have to complain. Well, how many people are really taking advantage of that free education?
Yeah, they're not even going to class. They're taking underwater basket weaving so they can get to the league.
Exactly. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's wishy-washy from the get-go. So I don't feel bad for the NCAA. I think they handled this wrong. I think, you really got to find a way and put something into play on how you're going to pay these kids, whether it's like a giant pool for your athletics department, like everybody gets X amount of money that's in these sports. These are our top 5 biggest ones. I got so many ways to carve this up, but I don't want to sit here and play.
No, I do like that idea. Like, look, our school is really good at football, basketball, and baseball. So these 3 sports, they're gonna get the bigger of that pie. The rest of you who do swimming and volleyball and tennis, look, this is the pool that you're gonna get it from. We're still gonna give you a stipend every week to make sure that you're able to eat and and pay your rent and take care of your parents. But we don't have to overdo it. You know what I mean? Like, basically how I would do it, have that little pool, and then whatever else they get on the side from car dealerships or signing their jerseys or jersey sales, that's just on them to make that money. But if you had this set rule with the NCAA, it would make this a lot easier, so they don't have to feel inclined to go get that $1 million bag at USC rather than the $500,000 bag in Tennessee.
And then the other thing that plays in it, like if the players are focusing on their name and their brand to hone in money and endorsements, like, at what point are you taking school seriously then at this point? Because then if I'm an academics place and I'm giving you a free scholarship to come here, are you really taking advantage of this? And why am I giving it to you for free?
Well, make sure they have to maintain a certain GPA at the same time. And I feel like there need to be, like, especially for people who expect to make the NFL, there are certain classes you need to take before you become an adult, especially in the league where they don't know finance, they don't know business, they don't know marketing. Like, they need to take classes like that where they can actually apply what they learn to what they expect to do on the next level. Because
how about like a course out map for that? Like, if you're planning on going to the league, we have a 1-year program or 2-year program for you that teaches you all of these things on how to, like, manage your money and humanities and these things that are tailored to you.
I agree.
As opposed to that. But you don't claim a major. You claim sports athlete or something like that, or student athlete.
No, I still want them to maybe, like, I think it should be like, there's a marketing path that you can go. There's a business path that you can go. There's a finance path that you can go. But just how they, like, just general courses that you have to take anyway while you're in college, their general courses just be a little bit different based on the path that they want to go on. But, I can't have my student come into class, on my team, and he's studying underwater basket weaving. If he doesn't make it to the league, or he blows out his ACL his year 1, underwater basket weaving is not going to get you a degree. It's not going to get you a job, when you graduate from college. So I think that the NCAA need to do a better job working hand in hand with the players rather than treating them like property, and then after that, just wiping their hands clean of them.
Like I said, we could carve this so many different ways, but at the end of the day, what do we talk about? This all boils down to money. And then at the end of the day, if these organizations are paying the student, how many student athletes are there in a university? There's a lot if you really think about it. And how many of them are going to want to pay all of those athletes? And then how many of those athletes are going to then revolt against them? I don't want to come play for this organization because they're not paying. And then another program is like, oh, we'll pay you. and then they go there, and then like shit, we're paying too much for these kids. Like it's gonna be messy until
Do
something.
you know how much money the NCAA made in revenues in 2021? $1.16 billion, right? How many student athletes are there? Let's see. NCAA. A total of I can't find that number. Yeah, I can't find that number, but $1.16 billion. And you see all these stadiums being built. You know, we're seeing brand new facilities. We're seeing brand new gyms. We're seeing all this brand new stuff. And the players are getting in trouble for signing jerseys. Like that is so ass backwards to me. Like, how can you get in trouble for signing jerseys and you're building a $500 million stadium in your backyard? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I
at
agree.
all. So that's the problem. It's so backwards.
No, I do, but we preach the same thing. Like it's all based off of money, and the NCAA set this up to happen. Like they thought about their own greed and didn't think about anybody else but their own money that they're putting in their pockets, and want to shun organizations for doing the same thing, wanting to put money in their own pockets instead of the NCAA's pockets. So.
And all they say is, "Oh, well, we pay for your education." That's how they justify everything. Yeah, we're giving them a free education. Look, I know a lot of smart kids from my school who get free educations, and they're allowed to get a job while they're at school. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? That makes no sense to me.
Do better, NCAA. All right, let's wrap up the show. All of this Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban bout we have put together for a fun segment of celebrity boxing coaching matchups. So 3 coaching matchups we would like to see played out.
Yes. Celebrity death match style. You go first.
Good fight, good night. Man, mine is kind of boring, to be honest with you. Mine is like yours. I mean, yours is probably in thought and depth and really, really good. So I'm going to give you your flowers now, but I'm going to go based on ones that I've seen. And I don't know if the coaches have blood for each other, but I'm going to do it ranking as far as like, you know, to the main event. So my opening one is going to be Pat Riley versus Jeff Van Gundy.
No, I actually thought about that one, but I didn't write it down.
The Heat and the Knicks.
Yeah.
All in one.
I like that.
That's my opening round to get everybody wild up for everything. My second one is very personal and can be anybody, but the one that sticks in my head the most is Bill Belichick versus Rex Ryan. I just remember Rex Ryan during that era would talk so much shit about. I mean, you could put Eric Mangini in there. You could put anybody in there too, any Jets head coach, but I just feel like Rex Ryan was ready to go out fully loaded for bear to hunt Bill Belichick. And he got the best of Bill Belichick during that time. And I'll give him that.
I'm jealous I didn't put that one down.
That was my second one. And then my final one is very, very like vanilla yogurt. But our main event would definitely have to be Roy Williams versus Mike Krzyzewski. That would have to be the main event for me. I mean, there's even talk that they kind of didn't like each other in a way.
I heard that.
That they like respected each other's games, but personally did not like each other. So
rival schools, you know, we got to.
Don't have to, but I mean, you know, what was he in the Army or the Navy? And Krzyzewski and then Roy Williams is like a humble, nice looking dude, man.
Roy Williams is the definition of a basketball coach.
Exactly.
He coaches basketball.
Yeah, I mean, they both are, but I mean, just say Mike Krzyzewski's name 10 times fast is kind of tough, but that would be mine right there. That's my personal one for me. I was trying to go baseball route too. I was thinking of like Bobby Cox versus Joe Torre, but I was like, couldn't see those guys going at it with, even though like it was more their teams going.
Yeah.
But then you could also put like enter Cardinals manager and Reds manager, whoever you want. They just hate
whoever
each
you
other.
Want, however you want to slice it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's my 3 right there, though. But yours is probably going to be like blown mine off.
No. Those are excellent. Actually, I actually kind of jealous because I do have Bill Belichick on mine as well, but I made
Peyton?
my I should have did Sexy Rexy. I don't know how I missed that one. I put against Bruce Arians only because Bruce Arians seems like a hothead, and they kind of just fought over Tom Brady recently. I feel like so to me, kind of just battle it out in the ring. Why not? It's just I want to see Bruce Arians hothead. You know, he's always red and shit, and Bill Belichick is always angry.
Like a baboon's ass, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, I got Urban Meyer versus John Harbaugh because I heard
another good one.
John Harbaugh is very scrappy. I heard he likes to fight people, and Urban Meyer it's Ohio State versus Michigan at this point, but especially Urban Meyer. I want to see that scrap for sure. And my last one was kind of a more recent thing. Was Juwan Howard versus the assistant coach from Wisconsin, John Krabbenhoft. The dude slapped him in an actual college basketball game. If he actually slaps him in an actual game, this fight gonna be crazy in the ring. It's gonna be crazy. So that was my main event. You got to run that back because hey, if a coach slapped me in the face when we play them next, you better know we're gonna run it back. We're gonna run it. I'm bringing my squad with me. We're gonna run it back.
To quote Bill Walton, throw it down, big man.
Throw it down, big man. Throw it down.
But yes, no, that's a good list too. Like I said, yours is more well thought. Mine was just like on the spot of things I remember back in the day, and more mine are like the teams backing these guys up too. At that,
yeah, so. No, I like those. Those are good. But the Sexy Rexy was my favorite one.
Sexy Rexy had that shit talk.
He was a thug for real. Rex Ryan is.
He didn't give a fuck, man. He would say whatever he wanted about Bill Belichick, and I was happy about that.
Mangini too. Honestly, Mangini and Rex Ryan versus Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels. That's his name, right? Josh McDaniels is the coach now for Oakland.
Yeah.
Or not Oakland, Las Vegas. Yeah, I want to see that four-way that tag team matchup.
You know what would have been another good like opening round one would be like two head coaches / offensive coordinators that really hated each other. Would be Josh McDaniels and what's that guy for the Pittsburgh? I think he was the
Todd Haley.
Yeah. That'd be a good soft bout.
Todd Haley, the coach of the Tampa. What's our USFL team? The Bandits? Is that our team?
I guess I don't know.
He's the head coach of Tampa, the Tampa USFL team. So who's laughing? Who's laughing loud now? Josh McDaniels got a job in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. But apparently those two guys hate each other too. So
I heard that.
I was reading
the whole reason why I even had this: who would win in a fight between Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban?
I'm putting my money on Saban, man. I don't care.
I don't know.
I would put Saban just looks like I'm not taking this shit. Like I feel like he would just get blown out the first like few rounds and then would just hit him with a haymaker and be like,
the way Jimbo came at Nick Saban, he wanted all the smoke. I think Jimbo would knock him out in the first 30 seconds. I mean, when have you seen a coach want all that smoke like that? Like he was direct. That was a lot of smoke.
He was, man. But let's be honest, we're not going to see that happen. I mean, I don't care, but I don't know. There's just some tough grit about Nick Saban that I respect, that I really do enjoy. And you don't often see Nick Saban go after. Nick Saban is more of like a defense mechanism. He's defending his players. He's defending his name. He's defending, like, I don't know if he had a little bit of that country moonshine there that day and was just like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to let loose and say, Jimbo, and I'm going to name drop Kirby Smart here, and I'm going to say, Dabu. And then meanwhile,
but he name dropped Deion Sanders. That's when he messed up, bro.
Yeah,
you do Outback commercials together.
don't come at Coach Prime.
He coaches at the HBCU. You threatened by HBCU now? Damn.
Yeah, I don't think he feels threatened. I just think he just wanted to make it known that like these. And he did it in the wrong way. I think he just wanted to let it know that these organizations are paying their players while Alabama is still paying their players. And we don't have the strongest recruiting class. And that's the thing is like, we talk about Nick Saban is like one of those guys that we have respect for, but we never talk about the Alabama program. Like we know they're going to be there, but we don't give them their flowers because we expect it throughout the season. Yeah. And then when they get there, we're like, oh, they're there. And then when they lose, we give them so much shit. Like, you were supposed to win, but we didn't talk about them enough in the regular season. We talked about Florida mopping up Clemson. We talked about Texas blowing out Texas Tech. We talked about all these crazy things, but we didn't talk about, like, Alabama
When you
blowing
have the
out.
best players on the field every game,
Yeah,
there's nothing to talk about. We know you should win the game. It's
exactly.
when you lose we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, we know what's expected of you. I think he just wants more media is what I think he's just power hungry at all times. Like, he gets sick when they talk about Clemson more than they do Alabama, or they talk about Texas A&M more than they do about Alabama or Ohio State.
Georgia, shit.
And then he goes out there and waxes these programs and, like, without a strong recruiting class. So it's just, I don't know. I get it and I don't, because at the same time, now you're shooting yourself in the foot looking like an asshole.
Yeah.
How much more greedy do you want to be? You just came out a couple months ago defending these kids for playing their hearts out and look like a saint. And, like, I remember you would say the rat poison tastes good that day. Now it looks like you're drinking from the rat poison. So it's just weird to see him do something like that. It's very uncanny of Nick Saban to me. So
yeah, shout out, and also Jalen Hurts said rat poison in a press conference that he did with us with the Eagles. So that shit does trickle down. Like, Nick Saban has an influence on his players.
It's like Kool-Aid, they said.
My boy Jalen. Super Bowl champs next year. Let's get it.
All right. Let's wrap up the show now. You can find us on Twitter at @fair_weather_pod, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just search the Fair Weather Podcast. You will find us there, and wherever you subscribe to the audio, we are definitely there as well. Parting words from me.
Everything that Steve Kerr said yesterday about that shooting in Texas, that school, that unfortunate and sad and depressing school shooting in Texas, I sign off on every word that he said. Go ahead and listen to it if you haven't yet. We need to do a better job of loving each other in this country, but at the same time, we need to do a better job. Just, I don't know, man. Just putting the main thing first instead of worrying about, how do I politicize this and politicize that, and I have to side with my party on this and side with my party on that. We got to just keep love and peace for one another the main thing before anything. So everything that Steve Kerr said yesterday, I wholeheartedly agree with.
Yeah,
that's my parting word.
You took the words out of my mouth for the first part. I mean, it's sad that a sports official has to resonate with a lot of people, or people have to get their news off of Instagram and Complex and shit like that. But I preach it all the time. Give people their flowers, because you don't know who's having a bad day. You don't know how it affects them. You don't know how they're affected at home. And it leads to things like this at the end of the day: depression, being sad, not feeling wanted. There's so many avenues we can take this, but at the end of the day, give people their flowers and do what's right at the end of the day too, because this is something that hits me near and dear. I'm not getting into depth with that, but it's something that's just ridiculous. And you can get baby formula. I mean, you can get a gun easier than you can get baby formula, is what people are saying now, which is ridiculous to even think. It's very easy to get a gun in this country, but
what makes it worse for me is that my mom is a elementary school teacher in the state of Texas. So, I mean, this happened like 200 miles from her in the state of Texas, where you can literally bring a gun to school, like open carry season and all that stuff. Like, my mom would never have a gun, so she's going to be at a disadvantage regardless if something like that would have happened to her in her classroom. So, these things are just so depressing and sad to see. We just got to do better and just love each other. And, if someone has a problem, just take them seriously. Don't make it a social media thing. Stop bullying people. All this shit that we've been seeing lately, we got to just be better. That's all.
Yeah, and political officials, like, I'm not getting too political on this, but do your part. Do your part. We put you in office for that reason.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Lightning, enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy these time. Play hard, because I'm going to need you guys to sweep the next trash that comes into this town and let them know why you're back-to-back soon to be back-to-back champions.
Let's go.
Yankees, you're hurting me with all these injuries, but at least we're getting it out of the way now. Still 30 games. Still won 30 games.
And the Phillies, you hurt me with that dumbass bullpen that we have.
And the Knicks, don't fuck up this draft. Please don't fuck up this draft.
and Sixers.
And the Jets, you did good.
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, Jets, you did good for me. Just win 5 games this year, please.
7. Y'all got 6 or 7.
Hey, make me eat my words. I enjoy that all the time. Make me eat my words.
Make him apologize to y'all next year.
I will. I'll do it. I wear Jet shit all day at work. I don't care. Just make me feel like we have a team finally. But
amen.
My parting words.
Peace.
Peace.